very, very excited about this upcoming season. Every year is a new challenge, and I've been coaching since 1982, a couple of years, and about a month before the camp begins, my wife starts saying I get a little extra bounce in my step, and I love preseason camp. I love the opportunity to work with every single person in our program, on a daily basis, and the great part about it is we've got such super young men. We've really recruited not only quality football players, but quality young men who really represent Tulane in a first-class manner. Probably I think the biggest strength that we have coming into this season is by far the best depth that I've ever had here at Tulane. We've had some great players since I got here. I remember that first year, Tanzel Smart playing in the NFL, and Perry Nickerson, and Donnie Lewis, and Rod Teamer, and John LeGlue's in the NFL. We got 15 guys right now that are in camp. So we had some good quality football players, but we didn't have it across the board, and we didn't have, our backups were a little bit lacking to play in this league. I really feel now that if we get a guy banged up, we got to put another guy in. He's going to be another quality football player. So we're very, very excited about that. I'm also excited about our new coordinators. Not very many Division I programs in the country have got a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator. I know Chip Long is going to visit with you and talk to you about our offense. He's got a wealth of experience. He was a Broyles Award finalist as Assistant Coach of the Year at the Division I level a few years ago when he was calling plays at Notre Dame. Before that, he was calling plays at Memphis. So I've really enjoyed watching the transformation of our offense from what Coach Hall established to, Chip putting his fingerprints all over it. And I think it's going to be an exciting offense, and you can ask him about that. And then I'm also very pleased with the improvement that we've seen from Coach Hampton, Chris Hampton, and the defensive side of the ball. Chris was with us for 4 years. When I had the opportunity to bring him back, he was the only guy that I interviewed and talked to. Chip was the only guy I talked to. For the offensive coordinator position, I was fortunate enough to get both of them. Chris has already, I think, changed our culture defensively. You can ask him about some of the things he's doing with the black shirts for our guys on the defensive side of the ball, the competition that I think that's become because of those guys wanting to wear that jersey every single day. And he's also added some things that we're doing defensively. We're quite a bit different this year than we were last season in terms of what we're doing on the defensive side of the ball. A lot of people have asked me about our schedule. Definitely a challenging schedule. Our first year, I remember Troy and I went to a conference meeting, and our commissioner told us, hey, we want to be a part of this Power Six. We got to play a challenging schedule, and we're very, very fortunate that we can get teams to come into New Orleans. Everybody wants to recruit New Orleans. It's a talent-rich city. It's one of the top high school football playing communities in the United States by far. It's interesting today, a couple of our players were arguing about Texas football, Mississippi football, and Louisiana football. I had to tell the guys from Mississippi and Texas, hey, we're in New Orleans now. This is the best football right here as far as high school is concerned. But, this is a great schedule. We've got not only Oklahoma coming in here. I've seen some places where they're ranked second in the country, and other places fifth or sixth. We've also got Ole Miss that we're going over to play them. They're ranked in the top 25. And then UAB is a great opponent. They've been Conference USA champions or played for the championship, I think 3 out of the last 4 years. And then we've got the really, really tough AAC schedule as well, with a bunch of great games here and on the road. All I can tell the fans is, 7 home games. That's a rarity. One of the great things about Yulman Stadium, I think that the media can attest to, is every seat is a great seat. Sometimes you get into these stadiums and, it's hard to see what's going on the other side of the field, or you better bring binoculars or you're not going to be able to really tell what's going on. This is a great stadium, and I think when we get people to come in here and we pack it in against Oklahoma, I think they'll come back time and time again. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up for questions, and once again, thank you all for coming. Got Ed right here in front.
Coach, can you say how long you've been working on Oklahoma, and when did that process begin in the off season as far as studying them? And I know you don't want to overemphasize one game, but what it would mean to the program if you were able to, win that game, or, even play a great game that day, what that would mean for the organization if you were able to put your best foot forward on September 4th.
You bet. Obviously it's a very challenging game, and our guys are extremely excited about it. Coaching staff is as well. In the summer we work on all of our opponents, so we'll take 3 days and we'll work on, Oklahoma, then Morgan State, then Ole Miss and UAB, and then all the conference games, and we get a preliminary game plan together. This one won't change too much because they don't have any games to play before we play them, but sometimes what you work on this summer and you play somebody week 7, you got to get a totally different game plan because they've changed a lot of things. So, I've learned over the years that you got to make sure you put everything into every single ball game. These guys, I see Corey Dublin out there, and Michael Pratt and Merrick Glover, and some of our players getting ready for the offensive media day. They put 365 days a year into this. I had to kick guys off the field today because we're scrimmaging tomorrow, and I want them to be fresh and frisky. So you only get 12 opportunities. So we want to put everything we possibly can into these 12 opportunities, and Oklahoma obviously is the first one.
If I could ask you kind of a non-football question. Yesterday, the decision was made in the city of New Orleans for vaccination proof to come to games even at an outdoor venue. Do you talk to your team about that? Obviously, you all were kind of at the forefront with testing last year, how it may affect the players and their families and fans coming to games and things like that.
Yeah, we talked about it last night in our team meeting, and we're going to send something out to all the parents and families to make sure, if they get an opportunity to get vaccinated, they can. And we're going to adhere to all the rules that are set forth here in the city of New Orleans. And I also think that President Fritz and everybody here at Tulane has done an incredible job of getting us back to where we can have situations like this where we're in person. We're going to have in-person classes this year. I think our student body is 95% vaccinated. Our faculty and staff, 92%. We're 100% vaccinated in the football department with coaches. I think our team, we're right at about 94%, and still plugging away, trying to get it up to 100. We want this to be we last year we went through COVID, and we learned a lot of things, and we enjoyed it this season, but we want this to be as normal as it possibly can for our team and our fans, and we just do a great job of following the rules that are set forth by the mayor, and then also by our president and university. Yes.
After last year, just playing basically in front of family and friends here at home, what's it going to be like, and how much have you almost had to prepare your team for what's going to happen opening day when you run out in front of a full house when Oklahoma's here?
Well, I think the guys are going to be really, really excited. It was a little different last year. That last game, we went up and played on blue turf in Boise, Idaho, against a team from Nevada, and it's a little chilly that day. And I remember walking out, and normally you have ushers, at least ushers, or maybe a security guard or two in the stands. I looked all the way around the stadium, and there's not one single person in the stands. There's zero capacity, and I think they limited us on how many people we could have on the sideline. So there's maybe 300 people total between the two teams, on the sideline. So it was very, very different. You had to provide your own energy and enthusiasm. But, hey, I think football's meant to be played in front of a crowd. And I know I'm looking forward to playing in front of the crowd, and so is our team. And I've got a lot of people coming to week 1. I told all my guys, my buddies, that if you're wanting a ticket for week 1, you got to be coming week 2. All right, so that's how I'm limiting how many of my friends are coming to the ball game week 1. But we're very, very excited about the stadium being open, having fans. I think it's going to be super and help us get back to normal.
Coach, you've mentioned the great depth that you have on this team and even adding a scrimmage during fall camp, one more than you usually do. Can you highlight some of the positions that you're looking at specifically where guys may be battling for spots?
Right guard, right tackle position, offensively. A lot of competition involved there. Rashad Green, Tim Shafter, Caleb Thomas, Josh Remitich, to name a few guys. Jackson Fort's even done some good things, so he's playing over left guard. He could also play over there. So we've got about 5 guys competing for those 2 spots. Wide receiver, it seems like a different guy taking a step forward every day. So we'll have a rotation. You really learn about your team through the first 2-3 ball games, and that's when you kind of get into the rotation. I tell them all the time, you got to be a practicer to be a gamer. Nobody just gets out there and plays on Saturday. You got to show us in practice to have the opportunity to show us on Saturday. So great competition there. We've got great competition at our linebacker position. I really feel like we've got 4 bona fide Division I football players there with Kevin Henry and Nick Anderson and Dorian Williams and Nicky and Marvin Moody. Playing those 4 guys playing those 2 spots. So a lot of competition there. Got some competition in the back end and the secondary at safety. On the defensive ends, we've probably got 4 guys that are competing for those 2 spots. So I see us rolling, and you got to do this early in the year to get into game shape. We're going to be playing at 11 o'clock, that first ball game, and usually a little hot around here about 11 o'clock. So, we're going to roll some guys. We'll probably play 18, 19 guys on defense and probably the same amount of guys on offense. And then you'll start paring it down as the season progresses.
Hey, Coach, what kind of improvements have you seen from year 1 to year 2 with Michael Pratt?
Well, I think, Michael was just like everybody on the offensive side of the ball. He had to learn a new system. When Coach Long came in, because there are a lot of differences between what Chip does and what Will does, or, things are called slightly different. Some things are called the same, but it's the same thing from year 1 to year 2. It's just his leadership is tremendous, not only with the offense, but with the defense, with the kickers, punters, with the coaching staff. He's a servant leader, and you want that with everybody in your ball club. But Michael certainly embraces that, and just a maturity level and a confidence level that, he's played Division I football at the highest level, and you ought to have confidence when you play well at the highest level. We've seen that from him also.
Willie, over here. How you doing?
Good.
I know you've established improved depth. You talked about it. Are there newcomers that maybe some fans don't know about that you think are going to make an impact this year? Maybe some guys that will be stepping into more high-profile roles.
Running back. Devin Brumfield, local product, will play a lot for us at running back. Wide receiver Shea Wyatt, transfer student from University of Central Missouri. He's really done a nice job. He'll play a bunch for us at the receiver position. Tight end, I've been impressed with Reggie Brown. He got hurt last season and wasn't able to play, played a little bit last season, but will be a freshman. He'll play a lot for us there as well. We got a transfer, JoJo Dorcius, from Memphis, and he's a New Orleans kid. He was here and had to move after Katrina, so he's excited to be back in town, and he's been hard to block. I've made a lot of plays on the defensive side of the ball. Jaden Kennedy is a true freshman that'll play for us in the defensive backfield. Darian Rakestraw, transfer from Colorado, and Lance Robinson, a transfer from Kansas State, from down the street at De La Salle High School. So those are a few guys to mention that I think will play a bunch for us that either played very little last year or weren't here last season.
Anything else for Coach Fritz?
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good.
How would you say Tajay Spears handled the injury last year? I mean, I'm sure after his great start, I'm sure he experienced lows after that injury, but how do you feel like he's bounced back and kind of handled it mentally?
Well, it was a significant injury, and there were some highs and lows, but he's a tough, hard-nosed young man and very determined to get back. And, like I said before, it's, he had to trust the trainers and the doctors, the rehab people. We're very fortunate that, obviously we've got a couple hospitals here in town, I guess 5 to be exact. So we had some experts, looking at his knee and helping him out. And, we did that every step along the way. And, but when it all boils down to it boils down to the young man putting in the work. And he certainly has done that. And I know he's excited about being back, and we certainly are as well.